Hello everyone, welcome to Rainbow Infinity. Today I'll be reading PseudoBob Delightus's Pinkie bites Twilight and doesn't let go. If you like the reading, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please enjoy. Story. Chomp! Aye! Twilight awoke with a shriek, aforementioned, and checked her left forehoof. In her sleep-addled state, she wasn't expecting anything in particular, but the thing she didn't expect most of all was Pinkie Pie latched on by the teeth. She groaned. Pinkie, what are you doing? Pinkie Pie did not answer. She just sat on Twilight's bed, affected a blank, guiltless stare, and kept her jaws clamped tight. I am not in the mood for this right now, Twilight said, as she attempted to crawl out of bed, lugging Pinkie along like an anchor. Pinkie, for the anchor's part, simply flopped over and slid along the bed until she reached the edge, at which point she fell limp to the floor, dragging Twilight down with her. This was beginning to get to her. Twilight set a hoof against Pinkie's face and tried to yank her hoof free, like prying a stump. It didn't work, nor did her strongest application a telekinesis. She even tried screaming and having a panic attack. That usually did something, but Pinkie's bite held firm. Twilight finally sank to the floor, her heart racing and her voice raw, and admitted to herself, I need a professional. A stallion in the chair to Twilight's right, who had a hot water bottle on his head and a thermometer in his mouth, ogled her up and down and sniffled cacophonously before asking, What are you it here for? Twilight raised an eyebrow and pointed to the chair to her left, which held Pinkie Pie, whose mouth still held Twilight's foreleg. The stallion said, Oh, though this transitioned seamlessly to, as he opened his mouth and his nostrils flared. Amarin Scrubs announced, Exam for Miss Sparkle. Twilight shot past her and down the hall before, Achoo! The stallion sprayed into two empty chairs. Ah, yes, Twilight Sparkle, the doctor said, as if that had some deeper meaning. She came into the exam room and closed the door, and asked, What is it this time, dear? For the second time, Twilight raised an eyebrow and pointed to Pinkie, who was hanging off her foreleg like a hooked fish. The doctor sighed. I'm afraid we don't do couples therapy, but I can schedule a consult. No! Twilight shouted, as she waved Pinkie around. She just bit me and won't let go. How do I get her off? Ah, the doctor said. She shined a penlight in Pinkie Pie's eyes, which didn't seem to respond at all, and poked her in the nose, which evoked a vacant giggle that didn't sound to be coming from any particular direction. The doctor then pulled a large orange crowbar from her smock's pen pocket and set it between Twilight's foreleg and Pinkie's lower jaw. Hold still, she said. Twilight took a breath and braced herself. The doctor grunted and pressed the crowbar down, which hurt a lot, but seemed to be prying Pinkie's jaw open. At last! But just when she felt like she could wriggle herself free, there was the sound of the squeal of metal and a burst of sparks, and bang! Chomp! Aye! Elsewhere, the doctor crawled out of a smoking, pony-shaped crater in the floor, shook some powdered crowbar out of her mane, and declared, Yep, that's on there pretty good. In the Ponyville markets, Applejack heard a strange thing. A grunt followed by the sound of a limp body being dragged across cobblestone. This was not a one-off. It repeated, and seemed to be getting louder, too. She waited patiently as the source of this mysterious sound approached. Hey, Twilight, she greeted her friend. Then she leaned over the stall counter and greeted her other friend. Hey, Pinkie. So, what'll you have? Pinkie's not very talkative today, Twilight grumbled, as she pointed out some apple turnovers and reached into her saddlebag for her coin purse. She snuck into my room this morning and bit me, and it really hurt. She jostled Pinkie as she said this. And then she just latched on like a giant leech. My doctor told me to find somebody who can operate heavy machinery, but where's the nearest machine shop? By now, Twilight was practically shouting, attracting a lot of judgmental eyeballs to Applejack's stall. At the train yard, she lamented. When's the next train? I don't know. I'd have to lug Pinkie all the way over to the station to check. And then I'd have to buy 2 tickets. just for the train yard. She yanked Pinkie over and groaned, "Ugh," right in her unresponsive face. Applejack chuckled as she hoofed over the turnovers. Yeah, I guess it's just been one of those days. But look on the bright side. She must like how you taste." Twilight stared at Applejack. I suppose that ain't much of a bright side, is it?" "Ugh," was Twilight's response, before she began her laborious journey home. "Ugh." Twilight trudged through the remains of her bedroom so she could comb her mane and finally go to bed. Her left foreleg was going numb from the effort of dragging Pinkie around, so it was all she could do to flop onto the bed and close her eyes. "Good night, Pinkie Pie," she said. "I guess. Even though you've ruined my whole day." Suddenly, Pinkie shot up and said, "Aw, thanks. I guess that's it for me, too. Good night, Twily." And then she just hopped away. "Wait, what?" Twilight looked at her leg, rolled her shoulder, just to be sure. It felt too good to be true, and also sore. She asked the empty room, "Then, what was the point of all that? Why did you—" But she felt she was looking a gift pony in the mouth. Really, no Pinkie. She was free. Finally, after the longest day in recent memory, she could rest and pick her life back up tomorrow morning. Sleep crept up on her, and her dreams were calm and pleasant. Jump! Aye! Thank you for listening in. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Until next time, stay tuned.